Grand Theft Auto 6 is shaping up to be Rockstar's most ambitious project yet, and a huge part of what makes their game so interesting in my opinion is the characters. Trevor, Franklin, and Michael's story in GTA 5 way back in 2013 still holds a spot as one of my favorite narratives ever, and the entire world knows just how impactful Arthur Morgan's story was in Red Dead Redemption 2. So today, I want to spend a little bit of time breaking down what we know so far about all the characters in GTA 6. And stay tuned because I want to show you something really interesting that I noticed about Rockstar's marketing that might tell us how important these characters are going to be in the final game. Most of the information today is coming from rockstargames.com, and right at the start we get a description of Jason and Lucia's story. Jason and Lucia have always known the deck is stacked against them, but when an easy score goes wrong they find themselves on the darkest side of the sunniest place in America, in the middle of a criminal conspiracy stretching across the state of Leonida. Forced to rely on each other more than ever if they want to make it out alive. Now I want to touch on Jason and Lucia's relationship in a little bit, but for right now let's just stick with Jason. Looking at Rockstar's website, it gives a little snippet about Jason, and it begins with, Jason wants an easy life, but things keep getting harder. Jason grew up around grifters and crooks. After a stint in the army trying to shake off his troubled teens, he found himself in the Keys doing what he knows best, working for local drug runners. It might be time to try something new. A bit further down, it reads that meeting Lucia could be the best or worst thing to ever happen to him. Jason knows how he'd like it to turn out, but right now it's hard to tell. So the phrasing in this is a little bit confusing to me, so I went back and rewatched some of the trailers to see if I could get any additional insight on their relationship at the start of the game. From what we can tell from the trailers, it looks like Lucia will start out in the Leonida penitentiary, and in trailer 2, Jason is seen asking for Lucia to get her out of prison. The guard does hint that he's seen Jason there before, and this could simply be taken as Jason being an inmate at one time, or maybe referencing a mission that takes place earlier than this interaction is showing, involving the prison for some reason. I feel like it was just a simple nod to Jason having a rocky past, but we'll figure that out later. Moving on to the interaction itself, when he does get Lucia out, it doesn't exactly scream lovers to me though, and I could be completely off base, but just from the few seconds in the trailer, it feels a little off. I do feel like this situation could be handled multiple ways. Either Jason and Lucia knew each other in the past before she got locked up, and had some sort of relationship with... There's a possibility in my mind that Jason might even have some connection to her getting locked up in the first place, but I'll speak to that a little bit later. But the second way I think this could play out is that maybe through a friend like Brian, Jason is sent to pick her up out of the prison, and maybe they briefly met or haven't met before. But I feel like this is just simply a case of Occam's razor, where it is as simple as it seems to be. But the idea of another character being mutual friends with both of them and getting them intertwined would be cool, but we'll see. The only other thing that kind of holds me up about this whole situation is the wording in the quote used on the website. It phrases it, meeting Lucia could be, rather than saying that meeting Lucia was either the best thing or the worst thing to happen to him. Just a could be makes it seem like it could possibly be the first time they're meeting. And like I said, if you pair that with the interaction they have at first, I'm not convinced, but it does seem like there's something going on here. But I'm interested to see how their story plays out either way. As we scroll on down through the website, up next is Lucia Caminos. The website reads that Lucia's father taught her how to fight as soon as she could walk. Life's been coming at her swinging ever since. Fighting for her family landed her in the Leonida penitentiary, and sheer luck got her out. Lucia learned her lesson. Only smart moves from here. With another quote saying that more than anything, Lucia wants the good life that her mom dreamed of since the days in Liberty City. But instead of half-baked fantasies, Lucia is prepared to take matters into her own hands. The only thing that matters is who you know and what you got. Fresh out of prison and ready to change the odds in her favor, Lucia is committed to her plan no matter what it takes. A life with Jason could be her way out. Upon rewatching the trailers, I noticed that they toasted to new beginnings, and this could be a simple toast to the fact that Lucia is out of prison, or a toast to the new beginning of their relationship together, or a toast that reconciles the past relationship they had and moving forward. Lucia also states that this place is just a start for us, which also makes me wonder how much of a start this actually is. There's another thing that kind of holds me back on the theory of them just meeting for the first time, and it's the first line in Rockstar's little blurb on this website, which is Jason and Lucia have always known the deck is stacked against them. So that's kind of, to me, Rockstar saying that they've been together for quite some time. Lucia's family also comes from Liberty City, which is a nice nod at GTA 4, and hopefully some things will arise from this at some point in the story. On the description on Rockstar's website, it says that Lucia is committed to her plan no matter what it takes, and only smart moves from here. So this implies to me that maybe there's a possibility that Jason is just kind of part of her plan to get to where she's wanting to go, and he may not be a part of it. This could also imply that maybe she's just cautious of Jason and his connections through the story, like Brian, if they're not mutually connected. And that could possibly be a tension point in the story, is their trust of each other's connections and the way that they're getting to the end goal of their plan. Going back to this easy score that they get caught up in, Trailer 2 hosts quite a few side characters throughout, and it seems that when they're climbing out of the window in the building and the cops surround them, I feel like this is the easy score that they get caught up in just because of the way that the trailer frames it. One possible theory that I kind of like is that maybe Booby Ike's strip club is where Jason and Lucia were robbing to get this easy score, and that they got caught there and are now tied up in this criminal conspiracy involving these other characters. But the more characters we discuss, the more this picture will kind of come into view. Now, before we go and discuss the rest of the side characters, I want to take a quick step back because I think that Rockstar's marketing actually tells us something really interesting about how these characters are going to fit into the story. So, I went back and looked through GTA 5's marketing cycle, and from what is available on the internet still, it seems that Rockstar didn't have the same style of side character breakdowns on their website, or at least if they did, I can't locate them. Instead, they heavily focus on the three main protagonists, which, since this was the major feature of GTA 5, I completely understand focusing only on them. But Trailer 1 starts with only a Michael voiceover and some general shots of Los Santos, kind of similar to the way that Trailer 1 of GTA 6 kind of just goes through the Vice City setting more than it does focus on either of the characters too much. But after that, Trailer 2 was released for GTA 5, which shows the first set of side characters that we see. In order, these side characters are Tracy and Amanda, Michael's daughter and wife. Obviously, these two become fairly major side characters in Michael's story, and although not much time is spent on them in the trailer, you don't really get much of any character, I feel like, that isn't Michael, Trevor, or Franklin. Next up in the trailer was Ortega, a rival meth dealer in Trevor's story. He's fairly minor for an antagonist. Next is Lamar Davis, who is shown, and I feel like Lamar is on the caliber of some of the characters that Rockstar is providing some information on in the GTA 6 marketing cycle. Franklin's ex, Tanisha, is shown, which has no major single-player implications. In the online portion, she does come back and have some online implications for GTA 5. But next up is shown Michael's therapist and Michael's son Jimmy that make the appearance in Trailer 2. Jimmy rides a very close line here of being on the same level of some of these characters we're going to deep dive into later today, but I'll discuss that when we get to the rest of the crew for GTA 6. After that, 3 more trailers were released, one for each protagonist, and a few screenshots, but none of them included minor characters. Red Dead Redemption 2 did something very interesting, however, and very familiar to what GTA 6 is doing. On September 7th in 2018, Rockstar released on their website artwork for each of the Vanderlyn gang members, and accompanied by a small bio to them similar to the GTA 6 website and the bios about these side characters. Much different to GTA 5's marketing cycle, and in my opinion, much different to what the game focused on in its individual styling. GTA 5, of course, heavily focused on the main 3 protagonists pre-launch, and in the game, I very much feel like that's what they focused on. And Red Dead Redemption 2, however, had you spending a lot of time with the Vanderlyn gang members, and they emphasized this through their marketing. So why is this important to GTA 6? Well, while it could be absolutely nothing more than some extra fuel to the hype fire, I feel like there's going to be a very significant focus on these characters in GTA 6, similar to the significant focus on Dutch's gang members. A lot of the focus on the marketing so far for GTA 6 has been almost a more deliberate game focus. Examples including the barn find side missions where you're going to be able to find and fix up classic cars more kind of deliberately, social media emphasis on personalizing your in-game feed for their social media apps, and even rumors of a Red Dead 2 style weapon wheel and weapon storage system for your personal vehicles to emphasize making things more personal and thought out for Jason and Lucia during missions or the free roam. Not to mention the styles as well. So in the screenshots that Rockstar recently released, it looks like you're able to change up the looks of Jason and Lucia entirely in the game. Not dissimilar to other GTA games, but perhaps in more of a Red Dead 2 fashion, where different outfits can be used for different situations. Overall, I feel like that GTA 6 is taking a ton of the systems from Red Dead Redemption 2 and implementing them, so that leads me to believe that these side characters could be much the same. This isn't even mentioning the NPC interactions, not only with Jason and Lucia, but also with each other, if they're going to be tied together and kind of interact more so like living NPCs rather than just static mission givers. Looking back at GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 led me to believe that GTA 6 is going to be more akin to Red Dead 2 in a lot of ways than people think. With that in mind, let's get back to the rest of the cast, because I think several of these characters are going to be much more important than people realize. First up on the list is Cal Hampton, and the website says the following about him. What if everything on the internet was true? Jason's friend and a fellow associate of Brian's, Cal feels safest hanging out at home, snooping on Coast Guard comms with a few beers and some private browser tabs open. The psychopaths are in charge, get used to it. Cal is at the low tide of America and happy there. Casual paranoia loves company, but his friend Jason has bigger plans. This character's description gives me similar vibes as Ron, as well as a little bit of Lester from GTA 5. However, in Trailer 2, he does seem to match more of what the description alludes to in his appearance, where he's more of a typical Florida boy than kind of a, nerdy conspiracy theorist. But I think that's a nice mix, and it'll be an interesting way to kind of implement him into the game. He and Jason being friends with Brian does give an interesting story implication to think about, and how they get involved together. My guess is that he's going to serve as some sort of technical help for the crew as he snoops in on Coast Guard comms. I feel like he'll be sort of the techie of the group, even though that's in a juxtaposition to his appearance. Next up on the list is Booby Ike. Not much is known past his description on the website, but the description reads that it's all about heart, the Jack of Hearts. Booby is a Vice City local legend, and he acts like it, one of the few to transform his time in the streets to a legitimate empire spanning real estate, a strip club, and a recording studio. Booby's all smiles until it's time to talk business. Booby might seem like he's just out for himself, but it's his partnership with young aspiring music mogul Draquan for Only Raw Records that he's most invested in. Now they just need a hit. Online, people are comparing Booby to Rick Ross due to his connections to Miami. He also owns and runs a strip club and recording studio and some real estate, so my guess is that he's going to be an antagonist or a pretty large part of the game that could also be some sort of shady conditional ally. Maybe he's a fixer for the crew or something. But the way Trailer 2 is structured, it does seem like it's a possibility that he ties in to this shady underground conspiracy for Jason and Lucia. And my prediction is that them robbing Booby's strip club is the easy score that went wrong. But that'll have to be explored in further trailers, or perhaps if we don't get another trailer, it'll just be explored in the game itself. Booby's seemingly biggest connection, though, is Draquan Priest, and his description reads that Draquan was always more of a hustler than a gangster. Even when he was dealing on the streets to make ends meet, breaking into music was the goal. Now that he's signed the Real Dimez, Draquan's days of booking acts into Booby's strip club might be numbered as he sets sights on the Vice City scene. I'm going to go ahead and put the Real Dimez here as well, because they seem so tied to Draquan that it kind of seems like they need to go together. But the Real Dimez are a music duo that consists of Baylux and Roxy. Their description reads that Baylux and Roxy, aka the Real Dimez, have been friends since high school. Girls with the savvy to turn their time shaking down local dealers into cold hard cash via spicy rap tracks and a relentless social media presence. An early hit single with local rapper Downplay took Real Dimez to new heights. Now, after 5 years and a whole lot of trouble, they're signed to Only Raw Records, hoping lightning can strike twice. The Real Dimez are drawing a lot of comparison to the real Miami rap duo known as the City Girls online, but I feel like Booby Ike, Draquan, and the Real Dimez are all heavily connected, more so than the other side characters, and that other than their descriptions on their website, there isn't much information that I can find on them, other than complete wild speculations of where I think their story is going to go. I don't really have much to say about them. Up next is Raul Bautista. Experience counts. Confidence, charm, and cunning. Raul is a seasoned bank robber who's always on the hunt for talent ready to take his risks that bring the biggest rewards. Raul's recklessness raises the stakes with every score. Sooner or later, his crew will have to double down or pull their chips from the table. Raul can be seen in the trailer using an assault rifle and seemingly escaping the cops after a robbery. And his description seems like he's a robber who's very experienced, but his confidence could cause some problems. I feel like that we'll run into Raul a little bit later in the game, and this is pure speculation, but I just have a feeling he's going to be a major player in some of the biggest moments in the story when Jason and Lucia get desperate. But other than that, that's kind of all I have to say about him. However, out of everyone that Rockstar has shown so far, though, there is one side character that I think is most important in this lineup, Brian Heder. Brian's a classic drug runner from the golden age of smuggling in the Keys. Still moving product through his boatyard with his third wife, Lori, Brian's been around long enough to let others do his dirty work. His description does provide some interesting tidbits about him, though. The second half of it reads that looks like a Leonida beach bum and moves like a great white shark. Brian's letting Jason live rent-free at one of his properties so long as he helps with local shakedowns and stop by for Lori's sangrias once in a while. I feel like Brian early on is going to provide a lot of tutorial-type game mechanic missions, and more than likely try to guide Jason and Lucia through the majority of the game. Just from what's been shown in the trailers and on the websites, he seems to be the most important side character in these early showings. With that being said, though, I feel like Cal will be also an ever-present side character, but Brian really feels like the Lester-type figure in practice, not necessarily in personality. I feel like Brian's going to be providing a lot of the missions and guidance for Jason and Lucia throughout the story. Overall, after looking through all of these characters, the biggest thing that stands out to me isn't actually one individual, but I feel like that the big takeaway is that GTA 6 is taking a lot of systems from Red Dead 2, including the way it handles just side characters, and that is really the most exciting thing to me because I think Red Dead 2 handles its side characters in such an impressive way that makes the game feel so much more alive than any other Rockstar game and really any other game that I've played. I do have a feeling that the third trailer is going to drop soon, and hopefully that can provide us with some additional information with these characters, and if we're lucky, maybe some additional gameplay as well. Overall, how are you feeling about the way GTA 6 is shaping up? Leave a comment down below and let me know, and I'll do my best to respond to everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and if you made it this far, make sure to subscribe for more GTA 6 coverage. I hope you have a great day, and take care of yourselves.